Python Lists Volume 3.
Fine. This is what we discussed yesterday. We discussed how we can create a list and what are the uses of the list, followed by different methods to add an element. Okay. We have discussed two methods to add an element. One is the append, and the other one is insert. Okay. With the syntax also we discussed. Insert means exactly which will insert an element at the particular index value, at the index position. So this is an example to make you understand how we can insert a value at a particular position. The first parameter signifies the index value. I mean at the third, it starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So it means like this position it will be inserted here. It's 12 will be inserted. The updated list will look like 1, 2, 3. After this one, 12 comes followed by 4. So this is how exactly you can insert an element at a particular position by using the insert method. And we have also discussed one method. What is that? Is append method. Default it appends the, or it will add the element at the end of the list. Fine. This is what we discussed yesterday. Fine. With the continuation of that one, we have one more method to update the list with new elements. That is what I call as extend. So this, other than append and insert methods, there is one more method called addition to add an elements. That is what I call as an extend. This, as the name implies, this extend the list at the end of the list with number of elements that are present in the new list. So it means that this method is used to add multiple elements at the same time at the end of the list. That is what it will extend the list by adding another list. So you can add more than one element by using this extend method. Okay, you need to note down this. Append and extend methods can only add elements at the end, whereas insert method, as the name implies, insert the elements at any position by using the index. That is what we have seen in the previous slide, like this. So there are three methods to add elements to the list. As an example, let us look into this one. An extend, create a list like this and print it. After this, we are extending with a new list. Extend is a method. Please note the syntax. Extend is the method, and you have given the another list as a parameter to this one. So you can add more than one element by using this extend method. That is what the advantage of this one is. Okay, we have a list here. It is. So the updated list will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, as we already seen in the previous slide. Extend will add the element at the end of the list. So it will be followed by 8, then quotes and never. So this is how exactly you need to understand this method extend. Fine. Okay, am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Fine, fine. Okay, can you see the slide what I shared here? Visible, no?
So few students are waiting.
1 second. Yeah, I think I made an auto admit. Probably all of them have logged in. Okay, fine. We will continue with this. Yeah. Next, what we can discuss here is like accessing elements from the list. So just to recap, let us understand this. And there are three ways to update the list. One is append, insert, and extend. Okay, append and extend, that will add the element at the end of the list. That will add all the elements at the end of the list. Okay, I think now I made an admit to all the students. Fine. And we have one more method called insert. You can insert any element at any particular position. One advantage of this extend is like you can add multiple elements by using even the list itself. That is what we have seen in the previous slide. So now let us look into this accessing elements from the list. How we can access an element from the list. This is exactly similar to your array concept, what you have learned in the other languages like C, C++, by using the index value. That is what you need to do it. So just look at this. In order to access the list items, refer to the index number, use the index operator, is the square bracket. To access an element in a list, the index must be an integer. Yeah, this is also a very critical point that you need to note down. It must be an integer. Anyway, it is a standard in other languages also. You cannot get an element like 2.5. Okay, array of 2.5. That is not allowed here. Okay. Nested lists are accessing using the nested indexing. This we have discussed yesterday. Like suppose we have a nested list. How we can access? We need to give the brackets. Okay. That we'll relook into this one. Yesterday, what we discussed, we'll also look into. Just you have created a list with the three elements here. It is grade or grades, three elements. Then what we can do, like accessing the element from the list is like this gives you the first element, as you know this. Same syntax. List of 0, name of the list followed by the index value. Always all the list starts at the index 0 and it will go up to 1 less than the total length of the list, n minus 1. If it is n elements are there, the last element will be indexed as n minus 1. Fine. Next we have list of 2, 0, 1, 2. This element will be accessed by using this. Fine. We have a nested list, nesting a list inside a list. Look into this. As I told you yesterday, this complete list, sublist, grade and r are the two elements in this sublist. Okay, this is the first one. This is an item of this list. That is what we have, a sublist which contains two elements, grade and r. That is the first item in this list. The list is again variable, comma. And this is the second item, and again this is a list. Anything that you enclose in a square bracket, that is a list. It's very simple to create a list in Python. No need to explicitly declare the size like in C, C++. Straight away, you enclose the elements inside a square bracket, that will be created as list. Dynamic creation. Fine. Now my question here is like, say, if I want to access this R, what is the syntax? As we understood yesterday. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Fine, fine. I'll just copy this code and show you. Control C. Just look at this. What you did here is like you have created a list with three elements. Okay. So as I told you, if you copy from the other side, it will be this double single quotes will be gets changed. So you should be a little careful. Otherwise, you'll get simple errors. That's it. You need to come back and correct it. So now look into this. This, if I run it, let us see what is the output. Okay, we're getting some errors. We'll fix it. Yeah. We'll just remove these comments unnecessary. Yeah. Printing some elements of the list. Here we have okay, a list of 0 means this will be get printed. 2 means this will be get printed. And you have created a nested list here. It is. Fine, I'll just run the code. We are getting some errors at line number 9. Invalid character and identifier. Line number 9, we have something. Okay. Print and then list of 0. Somebody is waiting just a second. Fine, we'll come back to this. Just look at this. Yeah, as I told you, when you copy from the other side, these codes will be get changed. That's one thing. Please be careful. And it does not show that there is a problem with the codes and all. You need to keep changing this one. If it is a single quote or a double quote, that will be gets changed. Yeah. Invalid character is an identifier at line number 14. You have a problem. Some space. Now you just look at the output. What we got here is grade and grades. Yes, a list of 0 and grades is a list of 2. After that, what we did like accessing elements from a multidimensional list. So when we look at this, we have created a list. In the first element contains 2 elements inside this one, grade and R, and this is the second element which contains a list with only one element. So as I told you, if I want to access this one, okay, if I want to access R, what is the syntax here? It is you need to first go to this index. This index is 0, and inside this 0, again this is a 0, and this is 1. That is how we can access the R here. It is this gives an output as R. Okay, that's I hope you understood. And again to print this one, we have one come since we have only one element, it is 0. And we'll add one more element here. It is like 2 comma 2.5. Okay. How do you access this 2.6 here? 2.5. What is the syntax here? It is yes, Control V. What I need to do right here? I want to access this 2.6. I'll just enclose this in a square bracket. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just can anyone help me? Like I want to access this 2.6 here. It is. What is the code that I need to write here? Look into this one. Is how do you access this one? This is a one element. This is the first element, and again this list inside this we have second element. Okay, so that's my second element means with an index 1. Okay, that is where exactly you need to represent. So this second element, that's why index 1. Again in this second element we have one more sublist here. It is what is sublist? Again you can have comma, okay, 8 let it be. So I want to access this 2.6. What I need to do? This is the second element, that's why it is 1. And again inside this is 0, 1, 2, 2, comma, the square bracket. I need to access this 2.6. 2.6 with an index 0. Okay, this is how you can print 2.6. Just try out this. Look into this 2.6. So we went up to third level here. It is like nesting. It is happening at the third level. So you can have nesting to any extent based on the dimension of the data that you're using. Okay. So this is one thing that you need to understand here. It is how we can access the elements in a nested list. Fine. Next, declaring. Okay, this is little interesting example. This is how you can create a list by interactive way with the user. Okay, I will also have this code. I'll just remove this. Yeah, you have created an empty list called L. Okay, you have created a list, empty list called L, and then I hope yesterday we have discussed this one is like n is equal to int of input, enter number of elements in the list. What is the necessity of casting this input into an integer here, please?
The default it will take a string. That's why.
Exactly. Okay. Default it is a string. That's why, as we discussed yesterday, we need to make that whatever you read, that should be converted back into or casting into the integer. Very good. Okay. That's why input enter number of elements in the list. Yes, that gives you how many elements you want to read. So now your n becomes an integer. If you want to check it out, okay, you can check it out. What is the type of the n? Is like type print. You can also have this print type of n. Obviously printed as class integer. Okay, that will print it out there. Next, what we need to do, like you take a for loop for I in range of 0 to n. Okay, you are reading n elements because the index starts at 0 and it will go up to push n elements into a list. And you have created an empty list here. It is okay. Now you are asking the user to enter the elements. Enter an item here. Enter an item. When you prompt this with a user, what is going to happen? Like when you type any element, that will be read and appended to the list. So as we already understood that append is a method which will keep adding the elements at the end of the list. Okay, insert is the method that will insert at a particular index. Fine. Once the reading of all the elements got over, because n means if it is a 5 elements will read, and once we come out of this for loop, we need to print all those things. How we can print? For I in L, okay. And what is the necessity of this? N is equals to blank here it is. Otherwise, what is going to happen? If you don't put this N is equals to single space, what is the expected output? Okay, just look into this one. And we have not explicitly mentioned slash n or print ln here. It is in the print statement. Print statement or a print function that will be default embedded with slash n at the end of this. Once it prints default, it has a slash n. That's why it will take the cursor to the next line. So if you don't put this keyword argument, we'll call it as keyword argument, if you don't add it, so it will print all the elements in a vertical fashion. Vertically means we have know that suppose if you add 5 elements are like the 5, 3, 2, 5, 7, some elements like this. Okay, that will be printed vertically. So to avoid that one, we are having this one. What we need to do? End default slash n you are removed and you made it like it should be a space. Okay. Now I'll clear this output. Run this code. L is equals to n. Okay, this is the problem when we taken or copy the code from the outside. You need to remove all the unnecessary blanks here. It will keep asking. Okay, invalid character in the identifier. Sometimes the simply it will add some. Just to remove the comments here. Fine. So I suggest not to copy the code. This is what's the problem is happening. So it means like if you copy the code from either net or somewhere else, it will keep asking to remove some blanks. Okay. So because we cannot recognize like where exactly the blanks are there and all. Okay. Fine. Okay. Enter the number of elements. Let us give 5. Enter the element. It will keep asking for the elements now. 4, 6, 8.6. Okay. So this is how we can dynamically add the elements to a list. This is a simple way. And we have 9, can have 50, any numbers. Okay. Just look at this one. 4, 6, 8.6, 9 and all. One thing. So this is what you need to understand here. By adding this one, you can get the or see the list like this: 4, 6, 8.6, 9, and 50. I will just remove this statement here. This end is equals to, okay, comment this line. I'll copy this. Print it by removing this. As I told you, we have a default /n at the end of this printf statement. All the elements will be printed. I'll just take 3 elements or 4. Okay, we'll have. This is how you will get output if you don't put end keyword. Okay, so that is what you call as keyword argument. Just to make you understand what is the end is equals to blank. Okay. Now sometimes if you want to introduce, okay, in between dollar, if I want to include, you can have the dollar in between space where we have. So you can have any number of characters. Suppose I want to have end is equals to end. Okay, is equals to, I want to have a dollar in between that. Okay, or and symbol. Anything you can have between the numbers. So like that you can add. So that is what you call as delimiter. We'll call it as. Okay. I hope you understood. Fine.